In today's video, we're looking at the Capital One Venture Business Card. This is technically a new card, but it's also effectively a replacement for an old one, the Capital One Spark Mouse for Business Card. There are a ton of new additions though. We'll look at the features, the pros and cons, and then do a bunch of math towards the middle. Big favor before we dive into everything is to give this a thumbs up to help with the algorithm. If you are new to the Ask Sebby business channel, then consider subscribing. Starting off, let's look at the basics. The card has a $95 annual fee, and you're getting 2x miles on every purchase. This 2x being the main draw for most business owners. Unlike personal cards where 2% or 2x is very common for no annual fee cards, for business cards it's very different. The baseline here is 1.5% or 1.5x for no annual fee, and then if you want 2% or 2x, then it either involves an annual fee or prohibitive caps, let's say up to $50K in spend per year. Again, we'll look at the math in the middle, but just wanted to lay the table. In addition, you're getting 5x miles on hotels, vacation rentals, and rental cars booked through Capital One Business Travel. This part being more of a nice to have, the 2x being the main draw. If you are looking to offset the annual fee beyond just elevated spend, you do get up to $220 in credits. You get up to $50 as an annual travel credit for bookings through Capital One Business Travel. If you're traveling anyways, then it helps offset some of the hotel or the car rental. To be fair, it does feel more like an incentive for you to try the platform. You also get up to $50 as an annual statement credit for purchases at qualifying advertising or software merchants. Let's look at the terms. Instead of specific vendors, it's based off the merchant category code, so MCC, assigned to the merchant. Also note that it's the partner in the business and not what you're buying specifically, so for example, software that you're purchasing from a general retailer may not be eligible. For example, let's say Adobe Premiere counts for this. In this case, you'd want to buy the subscription directly rather than buying from somewhere like Best Buy, where it might not count since the MCC code is going to be different. If you can use both of these credits, then you're at break even. If not though, the card can still make sense. You also get up to $120 for global entry or TSA pre-check credit, but this is every 4 years. Outside of credits, you also get some travel benefits. One of the more tangible ones being Hertz 5-star status. This is their mid-level status that you normally earn after 3 rentals or $1,000 in spend per year. The main draws above gold status would be more points, wider selection of premium vehicles, and free vehicle upgrades. Not a bad perk at all. Another benefit that they market is access to the lifestyle collection. This is basically their hotel portal where for some nicer ones, you get additional benefits like credits and room upgrades. Note that this isn't a one-time credit, it's every time you book through this portal, and you might also have access to this with some other cards. This card also opens up the door to transfer partners, where right now they have more than 15 partners available. If business is going well and you have a ton of spend, it's not abnormal to use some of those miles towards travel. The last 2 perks feel like business as usual, so you have an all-in-one business travel management solution for expenses and also no foreign transaction fees. Expense software can be interesting, but I haven't reused it myself, so can't really speak to it. Overall, a pretty good card though in its lane. Without the credits, it meets expectations, so 2x for $95 annual fee is pretty standard, and I put that into B tier. The fact that they added in 2 tangible credits though makes the card more viable to more people, and I'd bump that up into A tier. Math still needs to math, but you're getting a bit more help here. On a side note, if you want to learn about cards, whether this one or pretty much any other card out there, and you want to support the channel, we have links on the website, asksebby.com, and also down below in the description box. Make sure the links are competitive, but otherwise, it's a huge way to support the channel, so thank you in advance. Also, if you do want to run the numbers for yourself, we have a calculator that should pop up if you search Venture Business Worth It, Ask Sebby. For a lot of business cards, it's just math, so hopefully those are helpful. One big thing to note is that with this card, you are earning miles and not cash back. For Capital One, this ends up being a double-edged sword. If your goal is to fly business or first class, then miles can be extremely valuable, and often there's a ton of upside. This involves transferring your miles to partners and then looking at their partner reward chart to book, but also finding availability. The main draw over cashback is more value. The disadvantage is that you are learning award travel, which can feel like new language, and also things change every few years or even annually. Award travel also caters to more flexible travelers who can decide to take a vacation 1 to 30 days out. Makes it a bit tougher for W2 employees, but a lot more viable for business owners, especially if things are running well. Capital One is a bit different compared to some other bank programs where their miles have a lower cashback redemption rate, so be careful. Okay, so what do I mean by this? Capital One miles can only be redeemed for 0.5 cents per mile for cash back. That means that if you are using this card and you're hoping to get cash back, you're only getting 1% back in value for that 2x. Towards travel, 2x miles times 1 cent per mile is 2% value. And then if you do transfer partners, it depends on the target you have. For me, it's going to be 2 cents per mile, so about 4% value. Yeah, very much depends on your use case. Even though you technically can argue this, I think if you're on Team Cashback, I'd look for different cards. As much as I personally love miles and the upside from it, it's not for everyone. It also might not make sense if you are in a newer business and you're aggressively reinvesting back into the business and maybe you don't have time to travel yet. Okay, so with all of that said, how would we compare the Capital One Venture business to a no annual fee 1.5x card? Let's start by assuming that we don't value the credits at all and we value things at 1 cent per mile. Feel free to pause, but we pretty much want to solve a break-even formula. The idea being that we want to figure out what level of spend. Does it make sense for us to pay the annual fee? Do we come out ahead even though we are paying? In this case, if you're below 19,000, then you're better off not paying the fee because you get more value that way. At 19,000, you're impartial, and beyond that and above, you want to pay the fee because you get more value. And reminder that the spend number is annual spend. If you're transferring out to partners on both this card and the other card, then the numbers look even better. The main reason being that you're getting more value for your miles and you're earning more miles. This ends up dropping break-even down to 9,500 in annual spend, which can be higher for new businesses, but also not too unreasonable for more established ones. If you value the credits in any capacity, then this also drops the numbers. Let's go back and assume that we value things at 1 cent per mile and crunch the numbers. In this case, let's assume that we value 50 of the up to 100 in credits. This brings the break-even to 9,000 even though we're 1 cent per mile, so the credits actually help more than you might think. The maximum version of this is 2 cents per mile and also valuing credits. So if you value the credits at 50 cents on the dollar and at 2 cents per mile, then 4,500 is the break even, and above that you are winning. The main idea here is that it's surprisingly viable if you do the math. I know a lot of people don't like paying annual fees, but it might make sense. Okay, what if we compare the Capital One Venture business to a no annual fee 2x card, but one that's capped? Let's say you're getting 2x on the first 50K in eligible spend per calendar year, and after that it's 1x back. Let's start off 1 cent per mile just for simplicity. Here we have two numbers, y which is incremental spend above 50K, and x which is 50K plus y. We know that below 50K no annual fee wins, but how much more above do you need to spend? Running the numbers and crunching it through, we have 59,500 is the break-even point, so 9,500 above 50K. This is a pretty big jump compared to the first set. The caveat to point out is that there is an opportunity cost for that other issuer. The card with the cap counts as one of your 5 credit cards with them, meaning that it can take one of the spots and be problematic if you do have an aspirational plan to stack a lot of brilliant cards. Hopefully that makes sense. It's also a function of your business growth and what you expect it to be in a year or two. If you're running a startup, e-com, dropshipping, it's not abnormal for your spend to go pretty exponential pretty fast when things work out. If that's the case, then that 50K cap might be prohibitive, meaning that you got a card that doesn't really add value long term. I'm not against it necessarily, but there are downside risks. Also, in case you're curious, if we bump the value up to 2 cents per mile, the break even doesn't change that much. It drops by a bit, 54,750. Yeah, that first 50K is what really matters. Same thing if we go back to 1 cent per mile and we look at the credits. I'm not going to make an animation for this one, but you're looking at 54,500, so still in that same range. If you don't care about the opportunity cost and you don't see your spend going that much higher than 50K, then it might be worth considering. There also is another card that earns 2.5% cash back uncapped on purchases of 5K or more. I don't think that one's worth considering here because that's more Team Cashback. So even though it's similar, it's in a different lane. Okay, so with all of that said, what are the pros and cons? Number one, it has an annual fee, so you have to spend enough for it to make sense, or you have to get enough value from the credits to break even. It also earns miles, which is nice if you know you're on team travel, but not ideal if you're on defense. Again, given how Capital One miles work, if you are on Team Cashback or if you're not sure, there's other cards that might be better. A big benefit of the card and Pro is that it's now an evolution of the old card and you're getting credits. It's pretty much the old card, same exact annual fee, but you now have credits that can help. Yeah, either way, it'd run the numbers for your company's situation. Calculator should pop up if you search Venture Business Worth It, Ask Sebby. Again, if you want to learn about cards, we have links on the website, asksebby.com, and also down below in the description box. If you made it to this point, leave a nerd emoji in the comments down below and I'll try to heart it and also respond. Also, let me know if you like this math stuff, if you like the charts, or what the best way to do this is, because there's a lot going on, but I want to make it interesting. 3 questions. Number 1, what are your thoughts on the card and does it make sense? Number 2, how much does your business spend and what does it do? Lastly, number 3, how do you use your miles or cashback from your business spend? Let me know and everyone else know in the comments down below. Big favor, thumbs up, share this, by the way, hope you liked it. See you next time.